I had a couple of questions, Bogdan, if you've got a couple of minutes here to answer them. Great. You have, when you went through the demo, you were kind of just jumping through and showing us, kind of how some things were set up. Do you have any finished examples or, samples of things that are actually, this is the finished product and we're using my tokens and Action Form and Action Grid to do this? I'd like just to see if there, what a finished product looks like. Do you have anything like that?
We have some videos on our YouTube channel.
Okay.
They are not finished examples, but they again show the specifics of building an application or building an add-on. For example, last week I did an event registration form with Action Form.
Okay.
Okay. So there are a lot of these use cases on YouTube, but this kind of solution where you have a few modules and let's say, like I had Sharp Look, we don't have it yet because Sharp Look is not released, but it's sure that we have it.
Sure, okay. I like the Sharp Look feature, being able to add rows quickly. I've always found DNN a little cumbersome to go through and add a bunch of things to a page. I think that's going to be a very beneficial module to, quickly throw pages together. I like that you were talking about with an MVP, a minimal viable product, and being able to quickly prototype things. Our customers are visual and they want to see something, so we spend a lot of time, getting something, looking right, and then they end up, changing their mind and want to move everything around, and that's very time consuming. So to me, it looks like this module that you're putting together, this Sharp Look, will be something that we can much easier move the, pieces around to get the right layout. It looked like it was very quick to move stuff around, so I'm very excited about that, seeing that and using that in the future. So.
Yes. And the idea is also that you can get an iPad, go to the client and do it on the iPad.
Sure. Yeah, I saw the benefits of that, being able to, again, quickly prototype something for someone and be able to show this is what could be done. That I think is going to be huge. And, the functionality of being able to style it, on the fly and change colors and fonts and all that kind of stuff to me was, it just, it makes things much more flexible. And with, DNN, you don't do it that way. You have your scan, you get your layout, you get your look and feel defined, and then you start laying stuff out on the page. It's kind of a disconnected process where this was all bringing it kind of together. So I do see the performance improvements, and being able to rapidly prototype something and get something out there quickly and say, here you go. Which is, again, why I'm going back to I'd love to see some, a finished product gallery to be able to say, here's Action Form and Action Grid solving this problem, and here's, these three things solving this problem. And I know you have lots of different modules and things like that, but I'd like to have just a library of, if my client mentions something, what do I need to use, or what modules do I need to use in order to create a solution around that? So kind of looking for that finished gallery, kind of a place that I can go to, a repository to say, this is a similar type problem, I can use these things to do it, that kind of thing.
Yes, I agree, and we also have on our roadmap a new project to be able to package modules together, because what you want to do with what you just said, you want to just install one thing and then have all the database structure of the modules already installed. So yes. What we are going to build is a solution where you can just select some module instances and say, I want to package this together as let's say, headless application. And then you just install that on a different server and turn it creates a few pages. It adds modules to them, and so you have everything configured.
Right, exactly. There's nothing like being able to have an example of something and then modify the example to fit my given situation rather than having to create something from scratch. That, to me, is the most daunting task when you're presented with a white screen and you say, okay, go. I don't really know where to get started. So an example, or here, here's this kind of problem, and we solve it with, these modules set up this way with, these stored procedures, these database queries, this kind of thing, and then let me tweak it. That's way more valuable than here's a blank screen with a million options of things that you can do, because I don't know where to begin.
Yes, I agree.
Okay, exactly. Okay, very cool. I also saw on the DNN store when I was perusing earlier, that you have a package that is kind of all your modules bundled together. Is that going to include some of this new stuff you're talking about? So if we were to buy that module to say, hey, we get all the modules and licenses, that kind of thing, is that going to include some of this new stuff, or will there be a new package for that?
Yes, it will include the DNN API endpoint that I showed you.
Okay.
But it will not include this Sharp look. Sharp look will be a standalone.
Sharp look will be a standalone. Okay. And are there different licensing types? Like, is there a single domain, DNN installation, enterprise for many installs, that kind of thing? Do you have that kind of licensing?
Yes. So basically, we have two collections. We have one that is called Web Sharp,
okay,
which is for building websites, and it's a domain license.
Okay.
And we have another collection for building applications called App Sharp, and that also has enterprise license and also developer license for distributing with other applications.
Okay. Excellent. Okay, that's great. Anything in terms of documentation and support for any of the API stuff, the behind the scenes kind of stuff from a developer's perspective? I know that I've got a few developer folks, that, usually ask those kind of questions. So I just want to get that out there. Is there, do you guys have some detailed documentation or a support forum for getting the API information? I saw you do some really cool stuff with it, but again, I don't know all the things that you can do with an API. So is there some, support groups, documentation, that kind of thing for that?
Yes. So we have our support forums, which, like Don also mentioned, a lot of people come with very interesting questions. So it's a great learning place. Okay. But we also have documentation, but that's not as dynamic, and you cannot interact with other people.
Right. Okay.
And we also have this YouTube channel, which every time that somebody comes with a use case scenario and asks me to do a video, I will just do it and put it there.
Excellent. Is that YouTube channel something that we could, put on the Chicago DNN website and link to that? Would you be okay with that?
Yes, sure.
Okay, excellent. One of the things I did like, as I'm seeing the behind the scenes interface, and setting this stuff up, there was lots of, there were lots of instructions and, almost self-documenting, things on the screen, put this here, do that there. This is what this is used for. To me, as someone who uses these tools, it's very helpful to see that kind of information. So thank you for putting that stuff there. That makes things easier to be, again, if you're not doing it every day, it makes it easier when you have to open something back up and say, okay, what does this exactly do again? So that's great. And, and as Don said, we've been using your modules for a long time, the My Token stuff, the redirection stuff, we've been using them for a long time and have really, appreciated your help and support in the past. We look forward to, using some of these really cool kind of things that you showed at the beginning, this, the Sharp look I'm very interested in, and, and that kind of thing. So, I don't have any more questions. Do you have anything else that you want to add to the comments here?
Yes, I was just thinking about what you said about the help text inside the products. It's funny that many people do not read that because they got so used to those kind of messages that say, type your title here. Right. And they just ignore those things. And many times I just make a screenshot of that text and give it on the support forums. Have you read that? Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Getting people to read the screen is sometimes a challenge. But again, having it there, and if you've been reminded once or twice that it's right there on the screen, then you'll realize that it's not, enter your name here. It's a little more in depth than that. And that's what I saw during the presentation, is a little more in depth than that. And so I just wanted to call that out to hopefully, entice you to continue putting that stuff there, because, I find it incredibly valuable, and I'm sure lots of other people do as well. So, as Don said, thank you again for taking the time to be with us today. We'll get these videos posted up on our site, and usually we get pretty good traffic through the site, people watching videos, which is great. And we'd love to have you back when you get some other things done, and have you come back and do some other presentations for us. This has been very interesting for me, and I know Don's had some great success with some of the Action Form and Action Grid stuff with some projects he's been working on. So I look forward to getting into it as well, and some of the stuff that I've got coming up here as well. So all right, I don't have anything else. I'm going to go ahead and finish up the recording here. Again, our meetings are held on the second Wednesday of the month at 7 o'clock Chicago time. You can find all the information on chicagodnn.org, and we look forward to seeing you at our next meeting. If you have any comments on things that you'd like to see in a future meeting in terms of things to talk about from a DNN perspective, modules, content, techniques, tips, tricks, please let us know. Shoot us an email at chicagodnn.com to either Don or myself, and we'd be happy to get that information in there. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you at a future event. Thanks.